Snacking when I'm stressed.
I'm a fussy eater.
I don't really like vegetables.
Looking after my elderly parents.
I've got low self-confidence.
I work long hours.
I'm working night shifts.
I'm struggling to know what a normal portion size is.
There's so much conflicting information out there.
I'm managing other health conditions.
I've got reduced mobility.
I've got a stressful job.
I don't know where to start.
I get distracted by TV and the internet, and I go to bed too late.
I suffer with insomnia.
I've got a long commute.
I've got a desk-bound job.
I feel like a failure.
I drive for a living.
I feel self-conscious when I exercise.
There's mixed messages in the media about body image.
I feel very unfit.
I eat when I'm bored.
I eat when I'm lonely.
I eat when I'm angry.
I eat just because.
So I bet when you were listening to that list, there's a few things that came up for you and you thought, yeah, that's certainly an obstacle that applies to me. It gets in the way of my healthy living. And I hope that reminds you that healthy living is not necessarily about willpower. It's not about whether you're a good person or not. It's really difficult for all of us to stick to these behaviours. So we've looked at why it's hard. We've looked at what gets in the way. So now I'm going to give you just a few tips that behavioural science shows us can really help us make some changes. And what I'd say about this is, whatever change you want to make it really small, perhaps even a little bit smaller than you'd envisaged, and keep it manageable. So let's have a think. I want you to think about how much willpower it took you to brush your teeth this morning. I'm guessing not very much. Why? Because brushing our teeth is just a habit. We don't even have to think about it. Your conscious mind is not relying on any willpower. Using that knowledge can be really helpful for you in dropping the bad habits and adopting the good ones. And I'm going to give you now a bit of a framework to think about this. Think about the word radar. R-A-D. We're going to miss out the second A. R-A-D-R. And we're thinking about changing these habits. Habits evolve because our brain responds very strongly to cues and what's going on in our environment. We get a cue. Think about those obstacles again. Your cue might be stress with the family, not having enough time in the morning to get a healthy lunch together, sitting in traffic with that bag of crisps next to you, watching TV with snacks in front of you. Whatever it is, there'll be a cue. TV, stress, kids. Very, very quickly, you'll find a behaviour to respond to the cue. And that behaviour we're talking about here, let's take the example of unhealthy eating. A behaviour is only repeated if it gets a reward. The reward, of course, in this case, nice taste of the food. Maybe it numbs some of those feelings. Get a bit of a dopamine hit with the chocolate. Cue, behaviour, reward. And you want to break that cycle. It takes time and it takes practice. And radar should help you. So let's take the first R. R is about replace. You want to be a bit self-reflective. Think about why you're using that behaviour. What purpose does it serve? Is the food reducing your stress? In that case, could you think of another way of reducing your stress that isn't going to be so harmful for you? Is it filling in time? We all do that, bit of boredom eating. Maybe you can find a better way of filling in your time. So that's the first R, replace. Second one, avoid. We're so influenced, remember, by our environment. If you tend to drive past the baker's shop on the way home, take a different route. If your kitchen is full of snacks, does it need to be? Do they need to be there at all? Or if you've got kids at home or you socialise regularly, then maybe at least those snacks could be in a different room or out of reach. It'll amaze you how powerful avoid is. Next one, D. D is for delay. We get very used to obeying those cues. The urge comes to eat. We think the only thing that's going to solve that urge is eating. But actually, that urge can be solved in many different ways. And the key thing to do is build in some delay. So you're not telling yourself, I'm not going to have the bar of chocolate, I'm not going to have the bowl of crisps. You're just leaving them in the kitchen for as long as you can. Try 5 minutes, then try 10 minutes. See if you can work up to 45 minutes. That's how long sometimes it can take for an urge to go. So we've done R-A-D. We're now on to the last R, and that's restrict. I like this one because it's not what it seems. You might think restrict means restricting the choice of foods. Don't set yourself such a high goal. What I'm talking about is restricting where and when you can do it. Let's take that bowl of crisps in front of the TV. You can still have your bowl of crisps, but your restriction might be all of my eating has to be done at the dining room table. I'm not going to try and change what I'm eating, but it has to be done at the dining room table. You sit down in front of the TV, you feel the urge for crisps, you have to get up, go into your cold, preferably dark dining room, eat some crisps at the table, no other distractions. Then come back. See how long it takes for you to feel a bit fed up with doing that. So that's a really easy way to start trying to make some changes. Radar, remember that. What we'd suggest is, as I said at the start, changes work when they're small and they're manageable. So maybe at the end of this video, you'll want to pick one of the 4 that you struggle with: sleep, stress, food and activity. And you'll want to pick one of the radar letters to tackle it. Replace, avoid, delay, restrict. And just try over the next month to make that change. See how you get on.